Hello everyone, my name is Kayla Malone and welcome back. Today I'm going to be updating you guys on the Harmony Montgomery case. So if you're not subscribed, I definitely recommend hitting that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that you're notified, because I do post videos weekly, sometimes even more than once a week if I'm feeling really passionate about a case or if there is something that comes up, such as today. So as I said, Harmony Montgomery case. Now this case is moving at lightning speed. So even in this video today, there might be things that come out. I literally just Googled before I jumped on here to make sure nothing popped up, but by the time I get this video up and by the time you guys watch it, there may be new updates. As I said, this case is moving at lightning speed. This is all up to date to the 27th of January when I'm currently filming this. So if you're not familiar with this case or you need a refresh, I definitely recommend watching my video on the timeline of this case. I'll have it linked down below. You definitely need to go watch that video first because today's video won't make sense if you don't watch it. So remember in last week's video how I went into detail about Adam Montgomery's charges from the time he was a teenager up until present day? Well, it turns out that something new came out regarding Adam Montgomery's criminal history, and that is that he is a suspect in a murder of a 2008 computer repairman. You heard me right. On top of all of the charges that this man has, everything from stabbing people to shooting people to restraining orders from his partners to his daughter going missing. He is also the suspect in a murder, which honestly, after seeing his criminal history and Harmony going missing in his care, I am not surprised. The fact that over and over again, he was let off for such violent offenses and nearly killing people in the past, I'm sure he is so smug about getting off of all those charges. A lot of his other charges and things that have happened in his life and his criminal history had to do with drugs, either going to buy drugs and he didn't think he was actually getting drugs, he was getting duped, to getting, jumped during a drug exchange and then, shooting someone and then himself getting shot. And then on top of that, all of Adam's current and past partners seemed to have a drug history as well. So everything in Adam's life revolves around drugs. It really makes you wonder what Adam Montgomery wouldn't do for drugs, because it seems when he can't get them, he gets violent. So the man that was murdered in 2008, his name is Darlene Guzman. He was a 28-year-old computer repairman and a father of 3. Darlene was shot in the chest in the parking lot of a convenience store in Lynn, Massachusetts, and he later died in hospital. According to the Daily Mail, the owner of the convenience store reported hearing Guzman arguing with a man moments before he was killed. Now, no one has ever been charged for his murder, and there are no motives that have been given, although Guzman's relatives did say that he planned on meeting with a Montgomery for an unknown reason. At the time, police described the gunman as a light-skinned man in his early 20s, standing about 6 feet tall and wearing a red hooded sweatshirt. The man was witnessed driving a red Honda Accord towards Saugus. Then on top of that, Boston 25 reported, citing police sources, that Montgomery and 2 members of his family, who have not been named, have been considered persons of interest in the murder investigation for more than a decade. More than a decade, guys. So what do you guys think after hearing all of that? Honestly, after all of the times that Adam stabbed and shot people in his past, he is very lucky that none of them died. But maybe this time someone crossed Adam Montgomery and they did die. One of Guzman's sisters on Thursday reacted to the news, calling Adam a monster. She was then quoted saying, "My brother is gone and we know this, but the whereabouts of the child still remain unknown, and that should be the priority." Which honestly just shows you how beautiful of a person this man's sister is and his family, knowing that she is putting justice for her brother aside and in return telling everyone that they need to be focused on Harmony being missing is honestly just amazing. Okay, now hearing all of that, that leads us to wonder, how the hell did Adam Montgomery ever get custody of Harmony? How did he ever get custody of her with such a loaded criminal past? Okay, so from what I read, I'm going to basically paraphrase this for you all. It seems that when they were trying to figure out where to place Harmony, the courts basically asked another state for information on Adam, probably Massachusetts, I'm going to guess. I could be wrong. It could be New Hampshire. I'm not too sure. But the one state asked the other state for information on Adam. And when they didn't get the information quick enough, they basically just ended up signing over custody to him because they wanted to close the case. And I think they're in really big trouble for this now, because Adam in no way should have gotten custody of Harmony with a criminal past like this. It's ridiculous, and it never should have happened. The court should not have just closed the case because they didn't want to wait. I think in my last video, I hinted on something about this. I think this situation is what Crystal was talking about, where she was saying how Adam got custody because the courts just wanted to close Harmony's case as soon as possible. And so they just basically threw her in Adam's care. Regarding Kayla's situation, it seems that they've dropped her welfare charge last week for collecting food stamps. But then in turn, the charge was replaced with 3 other charges, including one of a felony count of theft by deception and then 2 misdemeanors for welfare fraud instead. It seems that she's being accused accused of engaging in a scheme or course of conduct from approximately November 30th, 2019 to June 2nd, 2021, as well as to steal benefits in excess of $1,500 by representing to New Hampshire State Department of Health and Human Services on various occasions that Harmony was in Kayla's household, despite Kayla admitting that Harmony was not a member of the household during the time period, resulting in the receipt of an excess of $1,500 and benefit of Harmony to which Kayla was not entitled. I know that was a lot of words. So yeah, this is basically what I was talking about in the last video, where I was talking about Kayla's charges, where she in turn to the Health and Human Services was saying that Harmony was living with them, so she was collecting the food stamps, but then she was telling the police in present day that she hasn't seen Harmony in like years, basically. Her charges were upgraded, which is great, but then her arraignment happened. So she was arraigned Monday, and prosecutors argue that Kayla Montgomery should be held on a cash bail because she's a flight risk. They were then quoted saying, "This isn't a white lie. This isn't a simple lie. This is an approximately 18-month lie to get welfare benefits for a child who has disappeared. Despite a month of around-the-clock efforts of 3 strong law enforcement agencies to locate her, she still is not appearing." And that quote is from the Assistant District Attorney, Jesse O'Neill. He also was quoted in court saying, "I suggest that makes this defense a stronger flight risk. She knows that law enforcement is closing in on learning. Maybe now it looks like an innocent theft charge, welfare fraud charges, but she knows what we are going to learn as the investigation continues." So what I gather from that quote, from that statement in court, is that 3 strong law enforcement teams have been trying for weeks now to locate Harmony, and they cannot find her. So something happened to her months and months and months ago, years at this point almost, and they're saying that they should not allow Kayla to be free on bond because she knows something and they're zoning in on it, and they're scared she's going to run, which is extremely valid. I don't think she should be let out. But despite all that, her defense attorney, Paul Garrity, asked the judge to instead release Kayla Montgomery on personal recognizance. I can't say this, guys. Personal recognizance bail. That is, I don't know why that's such a mouthful for me today. Anyways, I can't speak. Once she is accepted into a rehab program. So basically her defense attorney is saying that he wants her released into a rehab program and that she will stay in this rehab program, and that's where she'll serve. Well, they're waiting. Hold your thought before you comment below, because the judge took arguments under consideration later that day and ruled that she can be let out on bail into this drug treatment program at the Cynthia Day Family Center for Women and Children. Let me know now how you feel about that below, because the judge ended up releasing her into this program. But here's the thing. Among the conditions put into place for Kayla Montgomery's bail, there's an order that she checks in by phone daily with the Manchester Police Department. She must alert the state if she is released from the program for any reason, is not allowed to have any contact with Adam Montgomery. Here's my feelings about that. I'm sure people have been released from things before and just not said anything and dipped. So if she was really going to run, why would she personally alert anyone? Like, it should be on the program that they have to alert the police. I don't know, maybe if they do, but here it says that Kayla needs to. So they're trusting a known liar to tell them the truth about leaving a program. I don't get that part. On top of that, she's not allowed to have any contact with Adam, but how are they going to monitor that? If she's allowed to have contact with other people there, couldn't they help pass notes to him or tell him things? And I'm sure that they don't want her to have contact with him so that they don't get their story straight. I don't know how I feel about this at all. I do believe that if she's trying to get clean from drugs, she should be in rehab and getting clean, but I don't think it should be under these conditions. I think it should be like a prison rehab thing, where she is in jail. She literally can't see anyone still, and they're not relying on her to tell them the truth if she's leaving or not. That's crazy to me. Let's chat about this below, because this is, whew. On top of that, we haven't heard this whole time that Crystal, Harmony's mother, has been cleared. Finally, the state announced that Crystal, Harmony's mother, was investigated, and it is confirmed that she is not involved in Harmony's disappearance, which is great to know, that they're clearing her name and that now we can fully 100% move on and focus on who needs to be focused on. As I said, my gut from the beginning is that Crystal was not involved. I don't know. I just didn't get a vibe from her. It seems that she's super genuine and that, she's in contact with her son's adoptive family and they're also trying to help find Harmony. I just don't get that from Crystal. So how do you guys feel about this week's updates on Harmony's case? So let me down below. Let's have a big chat about this week. I'm actually doing research for a video right now on a serial killer case. So if you guys want to take a guess below on what I'm covering, I'll give you a hint. The case happens in Toronto, but that's where I'm leaving it. I need to come up with a tagline. If you guys can think of any, let's chat about below. Bye, little investigators. See you next week. I don't know. I feel like I need something to spice this up. Either way, I'm going to get off. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.